Alrighty, we are back with part two. We started part two and then I had to cancel. I forgot to tell somebody how we were starting up again. All right.
Clear all our bases.
Yeah, we cleared all the bases. I'm eating a brownie, so forgive me. Your boy's a little hungry.
I will yap while you eat. Lay it out.
So let's talk about your love for music. Let's start off there.
Whew. Man, I am probably the most untalented musician of all time. I'd say during my high school years, music was probably my idol. That was what kind of sat on the throne of my heart instead of Christ for a long time. Was I love depressing music, whether that be, garage rock, lo-fi rock, shoegaze, goth metal, goth metal has so much like satanic imagery, and I didn't know it was like that.
How'd you feel about Ozzy's death?
I heard somewhere he gave his life to Christ. That's up for Christ to decide, I guess. But I wasn't a fan of some of the stuff he was doing.
He loved his music, bro. He made Crazy Train.
I think he didn't have that song dedicated for Aleister Crowley. Was that him, or am I thinking of?
I don't remember.
I want to say it was Ozzy. He loved Aleister Crowley for whatever reason.
Remind me who Aleister Crowley was.
He was that big. So around I think he was around the '60s. He was the guy who brought that basically Gnosticism. He kind of turned he was kind of like the father of Satanism, but he wasn't overt about it. He was more of a Gnostic guy.
I think I remember now.
He was the one that he had ties to Charles Manson and MK Ultra, and that's a whole other rabbit hole in and of itself. But he's not a great guy.
Alexa's listening, bro.
He's not a great guy.
He's not great, let me tell you. Some people are saying he's great. I don't know. I think he's great, but there's people saying he's not. I don't know.
I did that just so that he would do the Trump impression because I love hearing it.
Bro baited me.
I baited it.
Luka, we've heard great things coming out of your camp. I don't know. I've heard you're looking for a wife, maybe Ivanka. Maybe I can put you two together. I don't know.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I love doing that. That's one of the most fun impressions to do because you just rasp your voice and put it a little higher, and you put inflections on your voice where there shouldn't be one.
The thing that makes me
great. I don't.
The thing that makes me laugh every time is impressions. I just think impressions are the funniest thing ever.
I can do great impressions.
We should just spend the rest of the episode just doing our different voice impressions.
Give me one. Give me one of yours real quick.
Dude, my range isn't great. So I have I can't talk. I can do accents pretty well.
I can do accent. Give me an accent. Mate, go ahead and give me a good accent. I want you to give me a good accent real quick. Okay, because mate, I've been asking you to do me an accent, please.
So I can do a really, I can only do a Yorkshire accent, an old Yorkshire.
Man, what are you talking about? Give me a good accent already, man. What are we waiting for?
Oh, dude, put on this spot. I can do a really bloated Yorkshire man who really needs to go to the pub and stop smoking Dunhills. I don't like doing it because it hurts my voice really bad. That's what I like to do right
I can do Louis Armstrong.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Yeah.
I see skies of blue, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Some people have told me it sounds like Kermit, on Hennessy, people.
That was actually really good. I'm actually really impressed. I was laughing, but it was actually really good.
What's another good song by Louis Armstrong that I can do that I know the lyrics of?
I probably know some. I just not off the top of my head.
I don't remember anymore. I just know the I see skies of blue, red roses too.
That's all I remember.
That's one of my problems.
I love the meme where he's like, if Louis Armstrong was the first man on the moon, how did he hold his breath for 12 minutes? It cuts to a picture of Louis Armstrong on the moon. He's like,
I am in space, on the moon. Help.
Yeah. No, I've seen that one. No, that's one of the things with me was like, I can't sing, bro. I've just never been good at it.
What kind of musician are you? Like, what do you play?
So I would do, so my main bread and butter is guitar, but I got really into
Acoustic or
electric.
I got an electric upstairs, bro. We're gonna have to see.
Man, my style is I like very like, so it's a style called like slowcore.
Okay.
So slowcore is very like,
I only ever got one pedal.
It's slow.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a lot of pedals for it.
I have the Holy Grail reverb pedal. That's all I got.
Okay.
I got the one that they used, Chris Isaac used for Wicked Games. That's the same pedal.
Bass.
That's such a good song.
That is a fantastic song.
No.
My thing is like my singing voice is very deep. It's very low.
I can sing like Frank Sinatra, Marty Robbins tone.
Right.
I don't know what that tone's called.
It's like alto.
Yeah. Alto or tenor? What is it? It's not tenor. It's
It's
high.
probably alto. I can do bass, like bass notes.
Bro, give me some bass.
I can't sing on camera, bro.
Bro, we gotta hear it. Give me Luka, I brought you here to my home. I fed you. I gave you a brownie.
Oh, bro,
And
who's
now
calling me?
you're trying to tell me you can't sing. It's very disappointing. And now you're taking calls.
Hang on. It's my mom. 1 second.
Okay. Here, you can mute your mic if you want. You just press that red button.
Hey, what's up, Mom? I'm doing a podcast episode right now with my buddy. Can I call you back? Okay. Is it important? All right. Bye. I love you too. Sorry, that was
Hey, you can never deny Mama's calls.
that was Wendy, bro. I haven't talked to her in a while, so she's making sure I'm alive. Shout out Wendy.
Is it your mom?
That's my mom.
Okay. Luka,
You're right.
I've brought you food to my home and you're basically tariffing me. You're telling me you can't sing for me because you're too shy on camera. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's got performance anxiety, I think is what they call it nowadays. In my days, we just called it being a you-know-what I can't say on camera. But he's telling me he can't sing, and it's so sad. And really, it's despicable what he's doing. I don't understand where he gets off. I bring him in my home, and he's denying me basically my right. I don't know.
Oh.
The women on the island sang for me. I don't know.
Oh my god. See, dude, you need to lock this one behind the Patreon, dude. People gotta pay for this type of stuff, dude. They're lucky to get it for free, Truett.
Nah, sing for me, bro. Let me hear some. Let me just hear some.
I will. I can bring some stuff next episode. I'll bring a cassette because I record stuff on cassette.
Oh shoot. Hold stop. I'm gonna have to get you to play guitar before you leave. I'm gonna bring the electric down. I'm gonna hook it up. I want to hear something.
Yeah.
I got a drum set out there too.
I'll play some of my. That's the thing is I don't do covers. Like I like to play my own stuff. But
You write?
That's one of my. Yeah, oh, dude, I'm fantastic at writing. See, I'm a great instrumentalist.
Yeah.
I just can't sing because with slowcore, the guitar is very like
You're a composer.
the mids. It's known for its mid-frequency guitar. Mm-hmm. My voice is mid to low, and that's where your drums and your guitar are. So typically with slowcore Vans, if we think about like the sound engineering, you have all these high mids and these highs that are completely open. So typically that's why you see these very wonderful female singers or these guys doing falsetto voices and that like indie
I love
voice.
falsetto, bro.
Great.
Like Prince falsetto. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, and even with like 80s metal, like screamo metal, they do like the like the Kiss voices,
Yeah.
like Kiss Van Halen voice. That is why, because their voice pops in the mix.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So I'm best on
I
like
can mock it,
strips.
but I can't actually do it.
Yeah, no, it.
Feel it alive.
That's why they do it, is because, and a lot of those guys have really deep voices.
Oh yeah, when you actually hear him talk, it's like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm
How
not.
does he do that?
I'm
Well, then,
not
like,
talented at all.
Like Prince and Michael Jackson, like their falsetto, like you hear like Prince's, like when he talks, he talks normal and he talks about the same range
Yeah.
high and he talks very low. But then when he gets to singing, it's like
It's different.
like
Right.
there's a high to, especially like in his later music when he was making
Exactly.
almost like jazzy kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's what happened. I want to. My thing is, like, I didn't want to make music if it didn't glorify Christ in some way.
Yeah.
But I'm also the camp where, like, I don't want to just, because contemporary Christian music, I never
Bro, I
liked
hated it.
There's maybe 2 or 3 songs that I really like,
I can't name
but
one that I
my
really
mom
like.
always put Caleb on.
Hillsong Worship and like K-Love like that, I just...
Bro, I couldn't stand it. And
I think it's
mom
some of the most annoying, corny, unoriginal lyrics.
Right.
Like, not only unoriginal, but also like, then these people are just getting rich off of Christ and then they're not giving any money back. And then
Right.
they're also in heretical churches.
So and it's also, if when you start producing music, you start to look at music a little differently, and it makes music less fun and enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
Because it becomes like almost like a math equation where, like, I'm watching these guys playing and it's the same 5 chords over and over
I will say,
and over again.
I love Michael Jackson, but some of his songs, like what is it, like Dangerous, where it's literally just dum, dum, dum. It's just a metronome.
Well, and see, but Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. His melody comes from his voice. That's why his instrumentals are really complex. But he can sing on simple stuff like that
But
because
he
his
also
voice is
beatboxed
the instrument.
and made all of his instruments. That was the crazy thing.
His
Like,
voice is the instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there are a few people.
And then like Prince, though, on the other hand, Prince was great because he literally played every single instrument.
Pastor Jeff from the Baptist church down the street, he probably has an all right voice, but so it's the same 5 chord progressions.
Yeah.
It's the same drum beat. It's the standard 4/4 kick, snare. Like, whenever you start producing stuff, you hear that and you've heard it a million times and you're like, oh my
Well, also, if
gosh.
you're just like a person who loves music and you explore a lot of music, then you know when things get easy. And
Right.
you know when that person took the easy way out just for a quick melody instead of making something
Right.
complex and something that was really beautiful.
Yeah, and sometimes simplicity is key. The problem is
Simplicity couldn't be genius. Sometimes doing less is more, but
Right.
you can at least be original.
Yeah, and so, and I don't know. It's not worship music.
Like my favorite song, probably like rock song, is "When the Levee Breaks" by Led Zeppelin, and that whole song is like, there's no song I've ever heard like it because it's so original.
Right.
Because like from the lyrics, from the lead singer's voice, from the chord progression, from the fact that they actually played that song originally on 2 times speed. In real life, they were playing it twice as fast, and then they slowed it down in post-production.
Iconic.
So it sounds... Have you actually heard it?
Yes.
So it sounds all warped. I love that song.
So, that's something I do on my tape deck, is a lot of the tape decks have tempo knobs, and not even like digital equipment can recreate this.
Yeah.
That's why I like tape a lot. You have a knob where you can switch the tempo back and forth, and the warping from the tape.
It sounds crazy on there.
Right.
It's so original.
It's actually the way that they would do it is the tape records in higher fidelity at higher speeds. So what you would do is you would record it, and what I can do in post-production is double my tempo on the software, play it on the tape, and then crank it down to set it back to the original tempo of the song,
I see.
and it'll be in higher fidelity, and it sounds amazing on tape.
I have
Tape is a superior form.
I bet.
We can talk about that.
I have some
but-
low-quality rap songs I made way back in the day, bro.
They are terrible, and I tried to produce it. I just would pirate beats off YouTube, and then
That's how we all start. I mean,
I do something, and I think I was him by just putting auto-tune on my voice.
bro, I don't. I try to stay like music to me was an idol, so I have a very different relationship with it now, where I have to set boundaries there. It sounds weird, but I have to set boundaries with that.
Yeah.
And really just focus on honoring Christ in other ways that
So-
aren't as self-serving as music can be.
Let's talk about. We talked a little bit about that. Let's talk about the sexual revolution. I know that's something you kind of wanted to touch on.
Man, I'm about to say some. Yeah, we're about to say some crazy stuff here. So one of the things that I've noticed in a lot of this kind of dates back to the feminine versus what's a feminine church and what's a masculine church.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like feminine and masculine churches and like, oh yeah, this church is for the boys and this church for the girls. No, I think orthodoxy is fantastic as a young man. It's very disciplined. I mean, some of the men I've met at St. Sophia are insanely successful, right? Not just worldly, occupationally successful, but
Yeah.
spiritually.
I've noticed that.
They have beautiful families, wonderful, from what I can tell, wonderful marriages with their wives.
Like we both know who we're thinking about, I think.
Right. Yeah. We've met them, and they are. I mean, it's a pattern, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to name drop anybody.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "Why wouldn't you name drop me? You just can't be confident."
Right. No. Hey, whoever's watching, you know who you are. But, yeah, it's. I see that versus a lot of like, for example, this Protestant church I went to. It was a lot of like really young couples with like. And I'm not saying, you have to have a whole soccer team, but, to me, I think the relationship dynamics are very different where, a lot of these pastors in the past were joking, oh yeah, my wife I don't know how my wife puts up with me. I'm just so dumb. And it's like, you know what I'm talking about, where these pastors, they joke, it's all for fun.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to, like, and I know like some of the guys at our church would joke about it, like she's my better half, this, that, which is, it's funny, it's great,
Yeah.
it's great banter. But a lot of these guys, like they have this weird cultural thing that happened in the West, where it
There's
happened,
an feminization of the
right,
relationship.
with media, where it's just the man that just works all day and he gets home and has a beer in the lazy boy, and his wife's all pissed off at him.
Yep. And then that became a reality.
Right. Then
Very
it
quickly.
becomes, that's what's socially accepted, and now we're still propagating.
Yeah, and then it's like socially accepted that everybody just hates their wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My like, bro.
Can't go out because Susan said I can. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
And to me, that's really
That's not.
no. That's, you don't want to be propagating.
Well, and then the other problem is, forgive me, but no, it's true. You can't. You like. How do I put this without being so controversial? Because I know there's probably going to be women watching that may not like what I'm about to say. You can't be the man in the relationship if you're the woman.
right.
It's not biblical. Not only is it not biblical, but like, I don't believe that that's how a marriage was supposed to work. Because I haven't seen any Old Testament marriage that worked like that.
No, and so but the problem is a lot of these churches, and not to, be rude or be judgmental, but this is why I've been so passionate about the young men demographic. Is a lot of these young men that aren't married yet. A lot of them have girlfriends and are exploring that, but a lot of them aren't. And a lot of these young men, I mean, as society kind of just disregards single young men, where it's like, if you're a man and you're over the age of 25 and you're not married, you're perceived as there's something wrong with you, or
Well, I think you should be married before 25 most of the time.
God willing, right?
But-
Sometimes it doesn't crumble that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's times that it just
Sometimes we
doesn't
waste
happen.
time with people that weren't meant to be, that God didn't intend for us to be with.
Yeah.
God still God's still working on me so that, I can hopefully, so another woman will put up with me. But, it's hard because a lot of these young men are conditioned in this way.
Well, or they think that if they get in a relationship that it's all about sex and it's all about this and it's all about that. Because
Right.
then you have the hyper masculine side that they're watching, like people like Andrew Tate that are saying like,
Yeah.
you got to sleep with as many women as possible. Your woman should be like a servant to you. And it's like, that's not right either.
Right.
That's
No,
not the right
that's-
position to take. Now, there is some
Absolutely
positive
not.
things that I think Andrew Tate has said. Like, I think to just take him out of the contention entirely just because
Yeah.
he said some stuff is like,
Well, the problems with bad actors like him is he says, 10 things that are right, and he'll say something that's extremely stupid and wrong. And then what people do is they
they take the one and then
they take the whole, right?
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, now I know everything this guy says is wrong. So I'm going to go on the other side and be,
it's very hard. People become tribalistic very quickly
Right.
when it comes to issues online. Like, I heard somebody, I think it was, what's his name? I want to give him credit. Patrick CC, I think, on YouTube.
oh, yeah,
Where he
yeah.
made that video about the death of mainstream. And he
Yes.
was talking about that the internet used to be
That's
a
a
town square.
fantastic video, yeah.
Used to be a town square where, like, people could have conflicting opinions,
Right.
but we're still like one. And he goes, then it very quickly devolved into, well, now, like, if you like duct taping toast to a tree, there's a community
There's
for
a
you.
community, yeah.
And he's like, it's weird because now we're so tribalistic because we're stuck in our communities. And when there's differing communities, like maybe that
Right.
person likes sticking toast to bushes. Now we're at war with each other
Right.
over something stupid like toast on plants. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
and then same thing with like Republican and Democrat. Well, we become so tribalistic because we're so stuck in our two camps. And the one camp is saying the other wants your children to be gay. And it's like,
Right.
well, that's one minor issue that we're focusing on. We also want equality on this, and we want to make sure that we're not having, we want to make sure that we're giving proper funding to this, and the other one's like, well, but I want to make sure that we're not overspending and we're balancing the budget. And they're like, they want to take away your health care.
Right.
And it's like, neither one is true.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
it's more complicated than that. Now, there are some just basic wrong principles on both sides.
Yeah,
But-
and that's the thing is like a lot of these, I've noticed with a lot of young women, because this church that I used to go to, the parish was about 70% women.
Really?
Which-
That's another thing. Orthodoxy's predominantly men.
Right. And we have to think. I
Jimmy, that's why he needs some help.
it all comes full circle, but no, I think
I'm gonna call Jimmy after this.
hey, don't watch the video, bro.
Jimmy, I gotta warn you, brother. Your name dropped. So are your children.
We love Jimmy, man. That's my dog.
We do love Jimmy. We do love Jimmy.
But yeah, I think it's very interesting because a lot of these guys there's kind of two camps where you have these guys that really want to be masculine and reclaim this masculinity, and they're searching for it
Yeah.
because the modern age kind of muddies these waters. And I told my buddy, I said, when we were talking about the female pastor thing, I said, God clearly outlined roles for men and women. And once we start blurring those lines and we say, oh, men and women are the same, have the same role, we just have different genitalia, then it becomes, okay, then switch your genitalia and then you can be a man
Yeah.
or a woman. So that's the slippery
If there's no
slope.
meaning to either one, then
Right.
it becomes a lot easier to switch between the two.
They become interchangeable.
Yeah.
And then you become, that would mean same-sex relationships are okay. And,
That's
that,
the thing, even in same-sex relationships, there's always one who's a dominant and one who's not the dominant. So, which reflects the traditional gender roles anyway.
right, in a backwards...
And I've always said this, like, how you gonna be lesbian and be dating the closest thing to a man that you can get other than a man?
Yeah, well, and see, that's...
Or be lesbian and dating the closest thing. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard because a lot of people just don't. So they did a lesson on Genesis 3, and I was very curious. I was like, because that's where God curses Adam and Eve
Yeah.
with the fall, right? So they're talking about, Genesis 3, but they don't talk about the fall. They purposely went around it because they didn't want to talk about Genesis 3:4, where God tells Eve, "Your desire will be for him, but he will rule over you." They're too scared to say that.
Interesting.
And what's important about Genesis 3 that they don't want to talk about, that they think is sexist, is backwards in a way. Because Adam actually was trying to tell God, hey, this woman you've created for me is sinful. And she deceived me. This is her fault.
Yeah.
And God says, you will be cursed because you heeded her words.
Yeah.
And a lot of people interpret that as something that's sexist. Oh, well, that means we're not supposed to listen to women. No, it means you are supposed to protect your woman or your wife or your spouse. You're supposed to protect her spirit, preserve her innocence, right?
Yeah.
Even when she makes a bad decision, and you represent your family, and you are supposed to be the one who bears the consequences.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's actually very pro-women, but it also shows the responsibility that
you
that
will
men
submit
are
to your
supposed
husband,
have.
and you will love your wife as Christ loved the church.
Yes.
What is more pro women than that? Dying
Right.
for it.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
so they're too scared because when God is telling Adam, "Hey, you have to sow the fields."
Well, it's really just a lie that's been sold to women that you want to have a career, you want to do this, you want to do that.
Yes.
Like, I think, okay, if a woman wants to have a career, whatever, go work. But there's a lie that's been painted now that says, like, oh, you're expected to, you have to, you need to do this. And it was propagated by Rockefeller because they needed more people in the workforce.
Right.
And then it was brought further after World War II because the women had already been in the workforce. And they realized we can pay these women a lot less. So they decided to just keep them in the workforce.
Pay these women less and tax them the same amount.
Yeah.
Then you have twice the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Twice the GDP growth. So
yeah.
You know, and I did a lesson with my guys on the sexual revolution because I think a lot of our issues that we have as a society stem from the sexual revolution. So, one of the main women who started this was Margaret Sanger.
She started a lot of other things too.
Yeah, and for those of y'all that don't know, she was the one who was essentially the mother of Planned Parenthood.
And fun fact, if you read her writings, her whole idea with Planned Parenthood was to literally ethnically cleanse everybody from African Americans being in existence. Yep. It was to kill as many African Americans as possible.
Right.
Which actually, if you do the numbers and you look at the population growth, had abortion not been made legalized and not been fought over like that, the African American population would right now be doubled.
Right. It's sad, dude. It's horrible. And we still see that if you go into Google Maps and you type Planned Parenthood, guess what areas it's in? It's predominantly black and Mexican neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. And we talked about as well Alfred Kinsey. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I don't know if I know.
So Kinsey was the one who invented the sexuality spectrum.
No, I didn't know about that.
So he was the one who coined kind of the whole sexuality is a spectrum. So what he had done was, now I won't get super into it because it's very, very graphic and awful. But he had essentially experimented on young children.
Oh gosh.
And he had kind of his argument, and he was one of the ones who got pornography legalized in the United States.
One of the worst things that ever happened.
Terrible. I mean, awful. Ruined generations.
I've said it for, I can't tell you how long, that pornography is probably the biggest strains on men.
Oof. Absolutely.
And not only just strains, but if you want to talk about something that hurts women, it's the porn industry. You want to talk about objectifying women? That's not empowering women, like some women try to say. No, that is literally, you're objectifying yourself for money. It's prostitution with an extra step. You're selling sex. You're selling your body to have sex with another person. The only difference is now it's on camera. So there's just a third degree of separation.
Right.
But it's still prostitution.
Right.
Number 3, a lot of these women are trafficked.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
there's not much regulation that can really be done about, especially now on the internet. It used to be different when you had to buy it on a DVD.
Right.
But now, there's not really a vetting process when these videos are just being uploaded to the internet.
Dude. Pumped out.
And you don't know if these women are being trafficked, if these women are being assaulted, if these women have been, or like, not only that. Number 4, how are these women ever going to work jobs, normal jobs in their life?
Right.
What happens when they want to have a family?
Right.
What happens when they want to do something different?
Right. But part of me, I don't blame a lot of these girls. I mean, when you see the economic situation and you realize how much money these girls are making.
Oh, I can see how tempting it would
I
be.
could totally see how tempting. So I have empathy for these women.
Yeah.
And part of it is these men who are paying for this. I'm not super hard on these men because it is an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these men don't want to spend, thousands of dollars on pornography. It's just what happens when you get too far into it. So, another thing I noticed too is a lot of women are falling for a lot of it's predominantly these fantasy romance novels, and a lot of these
erotic
novels,
yeah.
bro, they are even worse.
It's like straight rape, bro.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, demonic entities, different false gods, different biblical false gods that are actually real.
Yeah.
Just really horrible things in the
Ball and
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
real demons that are
real
posing
demons
as gods. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it is. I don't even want to even bring that up and speak that over us, but it's just it's been a slow perversion, and so Kinsey he essentially argued that an ejaculation was a natural process and that had nothing to do with heterosexual sexual intercourse, because he had argued that these children were too young to know what marriage was, but they were still able to produce this, and you can kind of put the pieces together. How does he know that? Through horrible experimentation. And this is the same argument that people use that try to excuse masturbation by saying, "Oh, it's natural, bro." Well, that's the same exact argument that Kinsey used to get pornography legalized.
Yeah.
So
I've even heard people, it's good for you.
No, hell no, it ain't good for you. Excuse me, but
It's not.
it's very. I try not. I remember I did that list with my guys, dude, and they were just like, they couldn't believe it. And I said, dude,
it's great.
Read into it. It's all in front of you. And they built a statue of this guy, a pedophilic scientist at the University of, I believe, Indiana. And as soon as it went up, a week later, it got vandalized. So based.
Well, good. Yeah.
I think one of the Catholic organizations had gone and vandalized it.
I'd have vandalized it too.
But see, and then the headline was because they try to paint him as this warrior for LGBT rights.
Yeah. Did you know the rates of pedophilia? Do you know who they're highest among?
Homosexual men.
Yeah, and transgender individuals.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean...
Yeah, because when you're that sexually demented and you've exhausted all options and you've become so... And I think this is the same reason that people in power, like congressmen, because I don't think half these people go in there being pedophiles.
No.
But I think what happens is they go in there and they realize they can get whatever they want. And so they start getting all their fantasies fulfilled.
Yeah.
And then they get sicker and sicker in this sexual, whatever you want to call it, degradation, that now they get to the point where they need something new to excite them.
Absolutely.
And it becomes a chase, and then it eventually, unfortunately, leads to a very dark place because it's a sickness, and they're not realizing where it is.
Right, and that's probably my most unpopular take, is a lot of people love to dunk on these people who, are pedophiles, and I'm like, listen.
Oh, I think they should be put in an internment camp, but I don't...
but you have to think, these guys aren't born like that. And if we're
No.
Christians, we have to understand that.
But they still, I would argue that they still need to be separated from society.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. But my thing is,
I'm a lot less forgiving than you are when it comes to that. Especially the
My
ones who
thing
act
is-
on those. Especially the people who
yeah,
act
well,
on
that's different. But if you're somebody who's struggling with those urges and you go get help,
it. Yeah, then I would.
I have empathy for you because.
Well, I've heard
you-
stories. There was a guy who he told the story to somebody. He was like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "I've been attracted to children since I was like in my 20s," and he
Yeah.
goes, "And I've never acted upon it." And he goes, "And I separated myself from society and from places there would be children because I didn't want to ever let myself get to that place." And I'm like,
Right.
bro, that's more honorable. Like, as weird and kind of nasty as that is, that's like having homosexual desire, like Seraphim, and then never acting on it.
Right.
And you decide that you're going to remain celibate and never act on it. I mean, that's like,
The reality is it's very common. I've talked to a lot of guys in my
scarily
men's
common.
group who have had, things like homosexual urges, and they're like, yeah, I know it's not mine, but I was watching so much pornography at the time. Normal heterosexual stuff wasn't enough, and it's very common. So
you see, I mean, where it gets to that point where
Right.
it's not enough anymore, and you need something new. And you need something
absolutely, and it's uncomfortable to have that conversation, but it's true, and that's what we're seeing is this like weird like feminization process with
Well,
young
we're also
men.
seeing a lack of shame. Like, I think it comes, and I think this is a female thing predominantly of, oh, well, they're naive. A lot of times, a lot of young girls are naive, and so they're trying to take like the glass is half full approach of like,
Right.
well, maybe, we should just be more accepting. And then it's like, yeah, but then where's the line that we draw? Because now we have people trying to say that pedophilia is okay and that these people that are pedophiles
Right.
it should be classified as a gender orientation and we should celebrate it.
Right.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, so one of the first step to ideologically capture a subject is to redefine the terms.
No,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure you know all about that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Politics 101.
I mean, first it became, well, let's redefine marriage. What does marriage look like?
Yep.
Is marriage a legal document binding you, financially to this person? Or is it a religious covenant between a man and a woman? Oh, it's a legal document.
But you see how quickly it fallen off the deep end. It went from
Right.
let us be in a relationship, okay. Like, make it not illegal for a man and a man to be in a relationship, sure. Okay. Now we want marriage. Okay. Now we want to touch little kids.
Yeah.
Look at how quickly we dropped off the second we allowed
that's the slippery slope.
the second we stopped shaming people for their sexual degeneracy is the second those sexual degenerates, we gave them a microphone. It's the same thing with like the tribal. Like, okay, now we have a community of people who are literal Nazis who like literally want to go commit genocide against Jews again because we've created communities where that's okay, that's considered okay. When we still had the town square, there was shame. There was things you couldn't do.
Right.
There was things you don't talk about.
Right.
Like, if you try to go into town square and talk about touching little kids, you're going to jail. You go into the town square and you talk about how you want to sleep with that guy and you're a man, they're going to shame you and be like, bro, that's gay. Get out of here. So there's a level of shame. And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I think traditionally there needs to be a return to that level of saying, we as a community are not going to put up with that. It's the same thing, like I say this for obese individuals. We have the largest population of obese individuals in America. The last thing we need to do is stop body shaming, as controversial as that sounds. Now, maybe not body shame, but we shouldn't. I think there's a big difference between bullying somebody for their weight and then saying, oh, it's okay that you're severely obese. No,
Right.
it's not okay that you're severely obese. Should we be supportive of that person getting better? Yeah. I think that fat shaming in the way of saying like, oh, we're going to bully people for being fat, no, that just leads to suicide. That's not the way to do it.
Right.
We should instead take the right approach, which is being supportive of those individuals to get healthy. Not saying, oh, you look beautiful in your 450-pound body. I think we can all Agree. No, you don't. Like,
Well-
you need to lose some weight. You need to get healthy because you're not going to live long enough with that weight. You're not going
Right.
to live a full life.
Well, and the basis of that is the idea of love has been redefined.
yeah.
The pillar of love used to be truth. Now it's affirmation.
Yep.
Now it's indulgence. Now it's pleasure. That's kind of what love means now, and we know that's a perversion.
Yeah.
And and then you have the whole conversation of SSRIs and birth control.
You know, I just had this conversation with a friend of mine at work.
And we see too, it has like a weird. So because in women, it tends to make them more masculine, and for men, it makes them more feminine. It has a weird.
Well, yeah, because it messes with your hormonal balance to try to produce more dopamine,
Right.
to try to make you less depressed.
Right.
It's a chemical enhancer or a depressant. I don't know what you call it, but the literal, like, from all the people I've heard that were on antidepressants, it just makes you tired. It's a downer,
Yeah,
but it
absolutely.
makes you too tired to be depressed. But it's also like that's not healthy either.
No, and it's not, and now we have this stigma on the topic of suffering. I mean, the Orthodox Church was built on the skulls of the martyrs. That's why I think that's what is suffering is the main thing that's turning people to Christ right now. I think is society's aversion to suffering has created such a weak-minded, unvirtuous, degenerate society, when we know that suffering brings forth glory,
Yeah.
whether that be the church or from Christ or whoever. And the aversion to suffering. I was talking to one of my guys about medically assisted dying and how it's immoral. That, oh my gosh, don't even get me started. I mean, there's two things. If you want to rile me up, talk about abortion and then medically assisted dying, because that is one of the most evil things I have ever heard being implemented in certain countries.
Yeah, like how is Canada? I saw a
Bro.
meme the other day. It says socialized medicine. There's two folds to it, and it said England. Yeah, we'll go ahead and see you in 6 years for that knee surgery.
Yeah.
And then it said Canada. We'll go ahead and help you just kill yourself, buddy, because that's the only
Yeah.
option we got.
Well, that's the whole reason they're doing it, is because there have so many old people that their socialized healthcare system can't support it. So the government saves money by killing somebody versus
Can
taking
you
care of them.
imagine saying we would rather just kill you? And there's a problem with corporate medicine, don't get me wrong. But saying we would rather just kill you than actually just try to support our elderly folk, which is what literally the bedrock of a society and I would say what a man is supposed to do is when he's young and he gets to that middle age, you're supposed to take care of your parents. And
Right.
when your parents pass on, of course you still take care of your child in that point.
Right.
But the bedrock of society is caring for two
Right.
generations of people, your elders and your children.
And we don't respect our elders anymore.
No.
We don't talk to them,
You know,
dude.
and I say this. When I had somebody ask, why do you kiss the priest's hand? Why aren't you kissing every elder you see's hand? If you go to the old country, if you go to Greece, if you even go to Serbia now still, from what I understand, if you see an elder on the street, especially in the smaller villages, and you know them, you kiss their hand as a sign of respect to their wisdom and the life that they've lived. Because you respect it.
Because they're amazing. And now we think, and this is the recency fallacy, that a lot of people think, the people like the early church fathers, this is how you rage bait an Orthodox person, is say that it's always an appeal to authority fallacy, because they think that, oh, this guy has a degree, or back then we didn't have scientific institutions the way that we do now, therefore there's nothing to be learned or preserved or remembered. So we think that, the modern consensus is always correct, which is really dumb, and it doesn't make any sense. And what happens is,
Like you're talking about medicine, sure.
yeah, well, even
in some regards.
even with medicine, I mean, we know SSRIs, birth control.
Yeah.
We know.
Like, that's like saying we've perfected everything in the modern age, as though nothing else can be ever perfected. Not like we haven't perfected anything.
No. We don't
There's
know
not one
anything, really.
There's not one area that modern society has perfected that cannot continue to be made better.
Yeah.
There's no area.
Well, in
that
an
happens.
attempt to kind of simplify things, we end up creating more problems. And so, instead of, sitting down with your grandparents, this is for a lot of young people, and talking to them and saying, well, hey, tell me about you and grandma. It's, well, my grandpa, he doesn't like...
He's so boring.
Yeah, he doesn't like Mexicans in his neighborhood or whatever. And, my grandpa is just too old-fashioned. We're modern now. We're civilized.
Well, that's one of the things, like, you also have to understand everything in context.
Yeah.
Like, your grandpa was raised in a different time where that was just what it was. That doesn't mean he lacks all knowledge.
Well, my thing with even different time, we're still in the same world,
Yeah.
I mean, Cam always keeps me level because I'll get real, like, not disparaging, but I'll get real black pilled, and I'm like, man, like, society is so crazy, and he goes, bro, there's nothing new under the sun.
There
really isn't. I mean, everything we're facing now is people. I read the Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon.
Yeah.
That is such an important read, and I've seen the parallels between Rome and current society.
All the soldiers being gay, and that's why they didn't want to fight the barbarians, and
the degeneracy and rot of society and lack of God leads to civil collapse.
Yeah.
And then there's a great reset, and then you have more primitive societies resorting back to God. So it's kind of like...
Where does he mark the fall of the Roman Empire? Because truthfully, the fall of the Roman Empire didn't happen until the 1300s.
So it's more ancient Rome. So before, he kind of marks it after the...
Because if we're talking about the actual sacking of Rome, then yes.
I want to say, so he's talking about, at least the version I have read, it's a collection of different manuscripts and writings.
Yeah.
This was like his life's work. The collection I read left off once Eastern and Western Rome were split, essentially.
I see.
So once it was the...
Once they split the kingdom into three different parties or two
Yeah.
different parties, yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially where it ended. But because then it was, the Byzantine Empire. It was similar, but it wasn't, right?
Okay.
But
Well, I mean, the Byzantium still was Rome. The only difference is that it was primarily Greek culture because
Right.
they moved because Constantine moved the capital
right,
to his city.
right,
But yeah, I mean, it was still the Roman Empire. That's
Right.
why it was a big deal when the Holy Roman Empire claimed to be the Roman Empire, because it was like, no, you're not the Roman Empire.
It wasn't. It was the Byzantines. But yeah, it's interesting to put into perspective where, like, and I'm reading through my Old Testament right now. Now that with this new Orthodox knowledge I know, I can read through like a book like Leviticus, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is literally the liturgy. Like,
No, I really, yeah.
it's so
There's
similar.
some parts in, I just read, what was it? Not Maccabees, not Sirach, Tobit. And I was like, there's parts of these in the marriage service that I was reading. Like,
Yeah.
there's part of when Tobit and, I forget his wife's name.
Oh,
Tobias's wife, I'm sorry. I forget Tobias's wife's name. Sarah? I believe it's Sarah.
I think so. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when they got married, there's parts in the marriage that are still said now to this day in the Orthodox wedding service.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's cool. And that is the biggest thing that Protestants don't read is their Old Testament.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, Truett, how many times I've quoted from the Old Testament and been told that's from the Old Testament. We're in the new covenant now.
I'm like, it
they
still
don't know
matters.
what that means. They don't know what it means.
I'm like, so now you're deciding what's important and what's not in the Bible?
That's what I'm. So I forget. I think it's Matthew 16.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
She does this
Alexa.
every time I interview somebody. It's the devil trying to interrupt us.
You think Alexa agrees with my take?
She might.
I don't know. We'll ask her after. We'll ask her after. But that's the biggest thing is they don't know. They think that, and I have to quote, I believe it's Matthew 16. I'm probably wrong. Deacon's probably going to correct me on this.
He's going to text you after?
Please do, Deacon.
No, it was not.
Um,
Send it to him when you see him. Do you have his number?
yes, I do.
Oh, you got to give me his number.
Yeah, dude, he's
But
a
send-
great resource to have.
Send the interview to him and then tell him that I want him on the show and send him my number.
I will.
Where is he right now? I know he hasn't been at liturgy a couple times. He in Greece?
Yeah, he's in Greece.
I know he goes back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, he's
Lucky man.
visiting his fam. So the old and new covenants, they say, well, Jesus came and implemented a new covenant. I'm like, well, he fulfilled it. He didn't abolish it. So you need to
Yeah,
understand.
fulfilling and abolishing are two different things.
Right. And this new covenant stuff, he didn't just make it up. If you believe that, then you're a Muslim.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing is they don't study other faiths too to where they can say, okay, this is a Muslim argument or this is a Rabbinic Jewish argument.
Or this is like a Nestorian argument, or this is
or a
a
Gnostic argument. Like
they
they don't
don't
understand what they're saying.
And then they think that their take is best because they somehow know better.
Right.
And there's no getting through to them. But I always say this to people, I'm like, on what authority are you saying this? When they
Right.
start spitting a
Right.
heresy that hasn't been, they revive a heresy from the 1100s. I'm like, what authority are you saying this on?
The third,
And they're like,
the third council.
Well, it's just my
ecumenical
interpretation. And I'm like, your interpretation doesn't mean anything. Who are you?
council. Right.
Like, what historically do you have that backs up your argument? Well, because I read it. I'm like, okay, bro, get out.
Right. Yeah, and so that's the thing. So we talk to ourselves. So we're like, okay, so what is repentance? Was that just made up?
Yeah.
No, repentance is the fulfillment of the whole burnt offerings on the altar in Leviticus. Like these things, what Jesus is saying, look, this is essentially what I'm replacing here.
Yeah, he
But
was
in
the last
terms
blood
of-
sacrifice.
Right. And Jesus was the last burnt offering, right? The whole idea, so I often, what I'll tell them is, well, do you not follow the Ten Commandments? Because that's in the Old Testament, right? But they don't know the difference between the Mosaic law and the Levitical law,
Yeah.
right? Saying that someone can't be gay, that's not a Levitical, that has nothing to do with the tabernacle. That's that's natural law. So they don't know the differences between the law.
Well, and also that doesn't say you can't have gay tendencies
Right.
or like gay provocations. It says you just can't sleep with another man, or
Yeah.
you can't go sleep with an animal.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was like, you also have to take some of those laws in context, not about being gay, but like the dietary laws. Because
Right.
at that time, swine, do you know how many diseases swine carry? So if you don't actually immunize those swine, if you don't feed them the right foods, like if you find a wild hog and eat it, you're going to get a parasite, bro. And then if you don't cook it right, there's a
Right.
high chance you're going to get a parasite.
Absolutely.
And then that's why they say that certain foods have to be prepped in different places. Yeah,
Right.
that's cross-contamination. They knew that before we knew that because they figured out that cross-contamination gets things sick.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, some of those things are true. But then you also have to remember, now we're in the modern age, and some of those dietary restrictions don't apply anymore
Right.
because we have different things. So there is such a thing as certain Mosaic law like that,
Right.
that can be taken in context of time periods and not.
Right.
But there's a very fine line of church doctrine
Yes.
and tradition, and then dietary law and Mosaic law.
Right. And see, but if you read your Old Testament, you become Orthodox. And I'm not saying that Orthodoxy is an Old Testament religion, but
No, but you can find most of Orthodoxy
Right.
in the Old Testament.
and so
Or callbacks to different services, or etc.
right. And the biggest thing is, and I fell for this. I didn't know what Arianism was back in the day, but I thought that Jesus was created in a weird way. I'd never thought about it. I didn't understand.
I don't
the
think I was an
Trinity.
Arian, but I think I just didn't understand. Like
You're
I
not-
didn't even
it's-
think about it.
It's ignorance. Yeah, they
I
don't
didn't even
know
think
what
about
the
it.
Trinity is. They don't know what it means to be
Well,
an
that's the thing, like,
uncreated God.
You cannot be in a Christian and not believe in the Trinity.
Right.
Like the Christians that only say, "Oh, glory to Jesus, Jesus," and then they never mention the Father or the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Then it's like, or they think that the Holy Spirit is just something that you just get struck with the Holy Spirit, and I'm shaking my
Well,
hands.
I had a girl in my co-ed group, real bossy. I mean, she was very vocal.
Yeah.
And with very little knowledge, but she spoke a lot. You know, God bless her. I'm sure she's doing well. I pray for her every day. Very sweet girl. I remember I had prayed our group out, and I said, "In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen." And she said, in front of everyone, she goes, "Why are you saying that Catholic stuff?"
How ignorant you have to
group.
be.
I took a lot out of me. I kind of I pulled her aside privately, and I said, "Hey, look, listen, if you're a Protestant, whether you're a Protestant, Catholic, or Orthodox, you believe in the Trinity. If you don't, you're a Jehovah's Witness.
You're a Mormon.
Yeah, you're a heretical sect. I won't even call them a sect. You're just you're just a Gnostic heretic.
You're just a heretic, bro.
Yeah, at that point, right? So,
Humble yourself.
but she doesn't know what any of that means. But I told her, I said, look, and we went through with some of my guys, and one of the things we were talking about was the presence of the Trinity in the Old Testament. We talked
mentioned
about
multiple times.
Oh, so many times, and we're looking, and we're going over certain theophanies. And I remember we went through Judges 13, and it blew these guys' minds. Because we were going through the angel of the Lord.
Well, and then the Holy Trinity is also in the New Testament as well. Christ, physical, in the river, the Holy Spirit descending like a dove, and then God the Father's voice coming from the heavens
Right.
that sounds like thunder to some people.
Right.
I mean, that's literally a depiction of the Holy Trinity
Right.
in three different manifestations. The spiritual manifestation in the form of a dove, the physical manifestation in the form of man, and then the metaphysical manifestation.
Yes.
And perhaps I'm starting to sound heretical. I don't mean they're three different persons.
Right.
They are three different persons, but one God.
Right.
But I'm saying it's almost the three different manifestations that usually are depicted of
Exactly.
the three.
Right.
Which is of metaphysical, physical, and spiritual, all within one Godhead.
Right. And so people don't understand is the Son existed before Jesus was incarnate.
Yeah.
So they like to say, they like to use Jesus as a catch-all term, and there's nothing wrong with that. But more if we want to be more specific, we should say the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
One of the interesting questions I've always wondered is like, okay, Christ and the Father. Christ was never created, but was Christ the physical manifestation of God? Or is he a separate?
So the way I've heard it explained is that Christ has, like he has two natures. He's 100% God, 100% human. So essentially, Christ is the Son incarnate in human flesh, right? Still with all the knowledge of God in a human form, who had to essentially humble him, or I guess he didn't humble himself, but he so humbled himself, right, by taking on flesh of the holy, it's the hymn, right? So, and I'm going to be really careful not to sound heretical, but
It's so hard to explain the Trinity without being heretical.
it's hard to it's easy to explain it simply, but essentially, right, when we were going through what the angel of the Lord represented, and I'm like, this is the Son, and a lot of these guys were like, well, yeah, I see what you're saying. And then, if you ever want to present it to a Protestant,
There's multiple instances, like there's an instance in Daniel
yes,
where there's the angel of the Lord, and Daniel gets down on his knees and then refers to the angel of the Lord as Lord.
yes, absolutely.
So,
And in Judges 13, when the angel of the Lord appears to Manoah and his wife, it accepts worship.
yeah,
It doesn't speak as a messenger, but it speaks as God itself.
God itself, yeah.
And it is the.
So that's what I'm wondering.
angel
Is
of the
that?
Lord.
That's what I've always said. Like, okay, so the Son is the only manifestation of God that humans can ever see or comprehend.
Yes, and that's when, and we'll talk to Deacon Nico about the Ancient of Days, but that's when the Ancient of Days comes in.
Well, because then Christ or God the Father, the only time I've ever heard of him physically manifested was as light when he passed by Moses, and Moses couldn't even look.
Right.
Because the light was so bright, and he passed by.
And burned those and disintegrated those two. I can't remember their names, like Abed or something.
Poor Abed, bro, just got disintegrated.
Yeah, Abed got. I can't remember his name.
But got vaporized.
Yeah, when they went into the tabernacle of testimony and viewed God. So in Judges 13,
can you imagine just walking in and just getting vaporized, bro? Bro didn't even do anything wrong.
Well, and even
no, I mean I think they knew they weren't supposed to.
They were being mischievous, and rambunctious. But even in Judges 13, Manoah and his wife. Manoah says to his wife, "We will surely die, for we have seen God."
Yeah.
And Manoah says, or his wife says that to Manoah. Manoah says, "Well, he seems to have accepted our burnt offering. He will have mercy on us." Essentially,
this is one of the reasons that I tell people, I'm like, if you read the Old Testament, it reaffirms your faith because, like, for instance,
it's consistent, dude.
Not only is it consistent, but like, okay, if Manoah was just vaporized and that was a lie, don't you think everybody in the village would have been like, Manoah's right there. What are we writing? Like, Why are we saying Manoah's vaporized? He's right here. No, Manoah disappeared, and nobody refuted that.
Or no, well, Manoah was still there.
Or not Manoah, I'm sorry, but the two that were vaporized.
The two that were vaporized in Exodus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The two that were just literally like,
was Abed or
Abed.
I can't. They all have weird A names like Ambilect. Like they have so many names, but
the two that were vaporized. I mean, like if those two are vaporized, you think the whole village wouldn't know?
Yeah, it's a weird detail to put in for just no reason.
Yeah,
like it just. That's what I keep.
There are
finding.
some weird details. Like there's the detail in Tobit where it's like, oh, and Tobias brought his dog. It's like,
yeah, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool.
It must just be because that dog.
Or like, dude, the one that always cracks me up. I think it's in 1 Timothy, like towards the end of the epistle when Paul talks about the coppersmith.
Yeah.
Where he curses the coppersmith. That is the funniest. Like, I just laugh out loud every time because I'm like, dude.
Or when what's his name had to put in there that he was faster than Peter.
That was Peter and John.
Yeah. John just had to put that he was faster.
Yeah. Well, and then when the apostles used to argue about who was the favorite apostle, it's so that just cracks.
Should we rain down fire upon them, Lord?
Yeah, and then Peter chopping off the guy's ear. The Roman centurion.
He was trying to get it back in blood.
Yeah, dude, he was trying to get
He
back.
came in there like it was King Vaughn. Have you seen those memes?
Yeah.
It's like Peter, the second the soldiers show up, it is King Vaughn taking out the trash, bro.
No, those are my favorite. But yeah, it's just when you read your Old Testament, it really rounds out your theology, and a lot of Protestants I found are missing it, and I get it, dude. The Old Testament can be so boring sometimes, but.
Okay, yeah, like.
Well, think about it. So we benefit.
I'm yawning thinking about it.
And see. You
read Numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, like.
My favorite verse is in Numbers.
Really?
No, it's the Aaronic blessing.
Okay.
Numbers 6:24 through 26.
It's been a minute since I've read the whole Bible front to back. What is the book that's like straight up just. Like dates and then people.
That would be Numbers.
That's what I'm talking about. I thought it was Numbers. Yeah,
that's
what I'm talking about when I say I read Numbers.
Numbers is weird because it's like the genealogy.
Yeah.
And then there's the random Aaronic blessing, which is literally straight cinema. I mean, I love that verse. Straight...
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. But then after that, then it's the land partitions. That's
so random.
It's just Numbers is a weird book.
Oh, and then there's like the 7 chapters in Genesis that it's just like he lived for 750,000 years and he lived for 2. It's like, oh.
Well, and then it's like, well, why would they say that? Well, if it was Muhammad,
the other weird thing,
the demon Muhammad wouldn't have wrote that. Muhammad would have started writing about little girls and
We're gonna get literally. My house is going to get blown up now that you said that, bro.
Sorry, you already know I had to.
It's gonna be 3 in the morning, and all I'm gonna hear is Allah Akbar, and I'm gonna know it's all over, bro. Thanks. Thanks.
I had to throw in a dig at Muhammad, but see, why is it important to know what the Trinity is? Because it'll keep these people from being.
What do you think? Finish.
It'll keep these people from falling into heretical sects. Because if I were an educated Jehovah's Witness and I try to argue a Unitarian God in the Old Testament, because that's what they like to do, is same with like Hebrew Israelites, for example, and they're cooked. I'm not even going to give them any.
Yeah, bro. Let's not talk about the Hebrew Israelites.
Those guys are dumb. But so the Jehovah's Witnesses, if I'm an educated, and I say that loosely because that's kind of a.
I don't know.
I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses can really be educated, in my opinion, but
at least not scripturally.
No, that's kind of a catch, or not a catch, but
that's a complete
contradiction.
Contradiction,
I guess. So, if I were to argue a Unitarian God in the Old Testament, and these people don't understand what the Trinity is, it's very easy to sway them into heretical sects.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm very passionate about, and a lot of these guys were like, dude, I didn't know this. This was so informative. And then we start looking at like Genesis 18, the 3 men that appear to Abraham. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Jesus appearing and wrestling Joshua.
Or how about the man who was the angel who was like the son of gods that appeared in the fire?
Yes. And that's in Daniel as well. Mm-hmm. Daniel 4:26 or 29 or something. But we talked about that as well, and we also talked about
like son of gods is so specific.
To
not be like an early manifestation of Christ.
Right.
There's people that believe Melchizedek.
Bro, and that's
an interesting
that one. I want to ask Deacon about him. Because that guy,
that's what I'm saying.
Is weird.
Like I told you about his icon, it's so strange.
Yeah.
That every time I venerate it, I get chills. And
yeah.
Like I feel like a jolt of something come through me. It's weird.
He's weird because I think he's described as a priest in Genesis. But
so he's described as a priest of the Lord.
Well, of what?
Or as a priest of Elohim, and it says he was the king of Salem, which if you look at the direct actual translation could mean not Jerusalem, but could be a slight alteration of Sodom before Sodom turned into what it became.
Right.
But they think that they may have put Salem because they didn't want to associate Melchizedek so closely with Sodom in case there was a misunderstanding that he was like a bad priest or something.
Right.
And then you have him serving Eucharist, early Eucharist, like bringing bread and wine and then serving it to Abraham after his victory.
Yeah.
And it's like, where did he come from? And why is he only mentioned once? And why did he bring bread and wine instead of anything else? And why did he come in the first place? What did he have anything to do with this battle?
Why did Abraham respect him so much?
Yeah, why did Abraham humble himself to take the bread and the wine?
And
then why is he also the only Old Testament priest that did not come from the Mosaic line?
Right.
Or Moses and his brother's line.
The Aaronic line.
Yeah, why? Because other than that, the rabbis and the priests were only supposed to come from that line.
And then, so we also have to see... we're going to talk about this in men's group tomorrow. We have an excerpt from I believe it's 1 Samuel when David flees from Saul, and he goes to I think his name was Ambielek, the priest at the time, and David accepts it was called it had a weird name. It was like the sore bread or something. He accepts essentially the Eucharist from Ambielek.
Interesting.
And it's literally in the Old Testament. And
that's the other argument for the Eucharist. It's like, why did Melchizedek give him bread and wine? And they're like, well, I don't know, but that doesn't mean it's the Eucharist. buddy, it's a foreshadowing.
That's the thing, and that's why, and Jesus puts everything in perspective, because Paul writes in I think it's 1 Corinthians 16. He says God will be with you, because God is not a God of confusion, but a God of peace. God's not going to just make random stuff up. He's literally fulfilling the covenant.
Christ never wastes a word.
No, and he didn't make stuff up. People were not super confused about it. People understood it. It's just it was a matter of
people were very confused about a lot of it, but that's because they were ignorant.
Yeah, it's because did
or
you
because they weren't really listening.
Yeah, did you want to accept it or did you want to not accept it? But the whole idea of sacrifice, the whole idea of shepherding the flock, all these metaphors are made, and that's where context matters. Where context is, and it's funny because they don't talk about that context, but the moment it's women have to wear head coverings in church, well, it's because there was a promiscuous cult back then that's what Paul's talking about.
Why are you trying to make excuses? Then explain to me why every Jewish woman was wearing a head covering. Why did they think it was so important?
Yeah, and I'm not insanely.
I'm not saying
I'm not gonna die on that hill, but
But I think I would encourage everybody to do it.
Right, and it's the thing that, because I had a girl argue this with me. A lot of them like to argue Ruth, Deborah, and the prophetess, and I think Isaiah's wife.
I'm but you're not Isaiah's wife, a prophetess, or Ruth.
That's what I'm saying. So she's women can be prophets. I'm dude.
Yes, women
being a prophet is
being
completely different.
And being a priest are two different things.
Right.
Also, is Ruth really considered a prophet?
I don't think so.
Is Isaiah's wife really considered a prophet? Because to my knowledge, I don't know of any of the prophets that are women. I know of Old Testament saints that are women, but I think a prophet and a saint are two different things. Then you also have to ask them, if they're Protestant, who defines what a prophet is?
Right.
Or who defines what those things are? Do you get to define that? Or what did the church define what a prophet was?
And it's funny because I want to say Deborah's not in the Protestant canon.
So then what are we even talking about?
That's the thing is, I'm do you know which book Deborah's from? I don't. I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't remember which book it was exactly, but it's not in the.
Is it a deuterocanonical?
It's a deuterocanonical. I need to look up the actual book.
That's what I'd say to a Protestant. If they try to argue me about Deborah, I'm what are we talking? Are you admitting that those are canon?
Right, and it's just it's a dumb argument in and of itself, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's okay, look, Paul says to hold fast to the traditions written in orally.
His first thing he says to the Corinthians is, "Thank you for holding my tradition. Now here's some more."
Right.
That's literally the modified version, the modern version of what he said to the Corinthians. Is,
right.
Hey, thank you all for keeping my tradition. Here's some more.
Exactly. Well, and so, but they want to pick and choose what context, and we need the context.
And that's the problem with the Protestant faith in general. It's because you no longer have a strong foundation. And it's the problem with Catholicism as to why it continues to evolve and change and add more doctrine.
Right.
Is because you are no longer holding true to the original tradition, and you're no longer holding true to the original teachings. And so when you move away from those things, you have a million different interpretations of what things can mean. No. You have a million different ways in which one Bible verse can be interpreted to support another Bible verse that supports another one, and then going down the line to fit anybody's narrative.
Right.
And that's how prosperity gospels get away with it.
Right.
Because there's anybody who blesses Israel will be blessed.
Oh,
yes,
bro,
but that's
Ted
not
Cruz,
meaning the modern.
Cooked, bro. Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz.
That was terrible. That is not one of my favorite videos, but and that's the thing is so if we want to be intellectually honest, right?
Not the Stewart intellectually honest.
Oh, not Stewart, but so.
He always says that.
No, Stewart.
Let's be intellectually honest,
bro. That's his buzzword.
He has some great debates against atheists, but that's about it.
I think he was in the Ethiopian Christian guy. He
got cooked.
He got cooked on the Eucharist, but that's because the Eucharist is true. But so, and to be intellectually honest, right? You can't take one verse that could be interpreted.
Yeah.
If you have 50 verses pointing you this way, and there's a verse that's kind of like here, but it could be this way, naturally, if you're intellectually honest, you take it all a certain way. You don't pick and choose.
Or you go see what the church has to say about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like a lot of these verses, like I know like for work specifically, people like to point out that verse in James, but they don't read the whole verse. Where they're like, oh, well, we're not saved through works. But it says literally the verse after that we're made for good works.
There's another verse, I forget which verse it is, that literally says you're not saved through your faith alone, but through the good works that you do and your faith. I forget what verse that is. But there's literally a verse that says that.
I can't remember.
I have it because Archer sent it to me and I need to find it. But that's literally what it says.
Yeah, I'm still learning my scripture. When you have Cam on, dude, his scripture recall is remarkable. It is the most remarkable I've ever seen.
Can't wait.
I'm not as good as him, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, I want to end with this last little point. We can talk about one of two things, and you can kind of take your pick. We can talk about Georgia and the USA comparison, or want to ask Enoch.
Ooh, bro, I have not read Enoch.
Not even I don't even mean the non-canonical scripture. I also just mean, what do you think happened? Why was he so specifically taken up to heaven?
So,
even though there's no context as to who he was, like if he was important enough to be like Elijah and just be assumed into heaven, why was he never really gone into detail?
I want to read Enoch.
It's such I wouldn't read Enoch unless you have a very firm foundation of it's basically like the English translation. I've read it, at least what there is.
I think the main problem was there were so many different versions of it.
Well, so there's Watchers 1 and there's Enoch is also there's also the Watcher,
right,
or Watchers, which is the same thing. But there's Enoch 1 and 2, aka Watchers 1 and 2. I've only read the first one, but the first one is so confusing in English because there's no direct translation from those original languages that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So like the most I got out of it was basically these angelic powers, aka like fallen angels, came to Earth, had children with humans, made Nephilim.
Yeah.
The Nephilim, not only did they make Nephilim, but they came down and taught witchcraft, weaponry, and war to humans. And like rape and all these other terrible things. And humans took it to the max. And they started taming Nephilim and making them go to war with each other on their behalf. It also kind of hints that that's where Goliath came from, and his tribe of giants stemmed from long descendant Nephilim.
Right.
And
it backs that up in 1 Samuel. Or in Joshua, excuse me.
Yeah. It kind of infers that in Enoch, but not very heavily. It's just kind of assumed because it says that they did have descendants that lived on after the flood somehow.
One of my Protestant guys, you'll meet him, dude. He's obsessed with Enoch. Which is so weird.
For a Protestant to be reading
he's weird, dude. He has weird affinities. He loves the Nephilim, dude. He thinks that is the coolest thing ever.
It is very interesting. Cool. But no,
that's his his Bible autism is like the Nephilim.
My Bible autism is probably also
he'd love to talk to you
the
about
non-canonical scriptures of Nephilim.
Yeah.
But it describes what they were. It describes the witchcraft. It describes the war, and then it kind of leads up to Noah. It's basically an in-between from the descendants of like Cain and Abel to then Noah.
Right.
It's kind of a fill-in, but it doesn't really go super into detail over those couple thousands of years. And so then it talks about that. That's why the flood happened. It wasn't just people being evil. It was literally humans lost all control, and we're now doing witchcraft and demonry, and we're raping
that's
each
what
other.
I tell people. So a lot of people like to use Joshua. A lot of atheists like to use Joshua to argue God does not have a good nature. And what they fail to understand is these Philistines and these Canaanites that were being killed in 1 Samuel and Joshua.
They were basically the same
They were
way.
Nephilim. They were the children of the Nephilim.
Yeah.
So they weren't real humans. They were, abominations to God. They were not God's creation. They were not God's beloved creation like we are. So that's what a lot of atheists fail to understand. I tell my Protestant friends this because this is such a common argument that's used to say, oh, well, God is so like, evil or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but no, I mean, if we read it, it says, they had 6 fingers, they were 6 fingers, 6 toes, they were, 9 feet tall or whatever.
Yeah, strange abominations. I don't know.
Yeah, they weren't human. So God's not telling them to go genocide these humans for no reason. He's saying genocide these Nephilim.
No, there's a reason.
Nephilim. Right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going on almost 3 hours. Whew. So
we gotta get the director's cut out here.
No joke.
In a couple weeks, bro.
No joke. Well, anyway, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, man,
a lot
it's
of
a
people are
pleasure.
gonna get
I
out of
appreciate it.
It always is a pleasure. I want to have you back on at some point. Once I go through a list of probably after I think a couple months of doing it, I'll probably start having return guests come back, and we'll just talk apologetics. We'll talk different things like that.
Love to, man. I'd be honored, bro. You need to have Vlad on.
Oh yeah,
We'll introduce you to Vlad because Vlad is super cool.
do it. And then after a while, once we get Cam on and I get some better mics where I can get 3 hooked up, I want you, me, and Cam all on. That'd be a cool back and forth,
bro.
cool platform.
That'll get you. You'll get deleted real quick,
Bro, they're gonna. They know too much.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely, man. It's always
Appreciate
a pleasure.
you, brother.
It's always a pleasure.
Well, yeah, go ahead and tell your mom I said thank you.
I will.
When are you